Hello, everyone. At Canadian SME, my team and I speak with hundreds of small business owners across the country. We talk to restaurant owners, startup founders, retailers, consultants, manufacturers, and also growing teams. And something interesting comes up in almost every conversation. When people talk about building a successful business, they talk about revenue, growth, hiring, and marketing. But when they talk about the businesses they are most proud of, they talk about something else. They talk about culture. They talk about the kind of place that they are building, the kind of workplace where people feel good walking into every morning, the kind of environment where customers feel welcome. And that is exactly what today's session is about. Today, I want to walk you through a set of very practical tools that small businesses can use to build more inclusive and welcoming workplaces. Not complicated frameworks, not theoretical policies, but real tools that organizations can actually use. Let me start with something simple. For many people in Canada today, showing up at work as their authentic self is not easy. Members of 2S LGBTQI+ communities continue to experience stigma and discrimination in everyday environments, including workplaces. Sometimes it shows up in obvious ways, sometimes it shows up in subtle ways. Language, assumptions, forms, policies, marketing images, customer interactions. Individually, these moments may seem small, but together, they shape how safe or welcome someone feels. And here's the important part: when workplaces become more inclusive, everyone benefits. Employees feel respected, teams collaborate better, creativity increases, customers feel comfortable engaging with your business. And from a business perspective, inclusive workplaces are often more innovative, more resilient, and more attractive to both talent and customers. So, inclusion is not just a social conversation, it is also a leadership conversation. And this is where the Unity campaign comes in. Unity is a Government of Canada initiative designed to help people recognize stigma, debunk misinformation, and actively support sexually and gender diverse communities. But what makes the Unity resources particularly helpful for organizations is this: they are practical. They do not overwhelm businesses with complex frameworks. Instead, they offer simple tools that organizations can actually use to improve workplace culture. And today, I want to walk you through two key tools included in the Unity Small Business Toolkit. Tool 1, the Workplace Presentation Deck, and Tool 2, the Employer One Page Series. Understanding these two tools is the key to making this session actionable. Let's start with the first tool, the presentation deck. This resource is designed for both employers and employees. Think of it as a conversation starter inside your organization. The presentation introduces teams to several important ideas: why inclusion matters, what unity is, why supporting 2S LGBTQI+ communities matters in the workplace, and how businesses can begin building more inclusive environments. The deck also includes real workplace scenarios that help teams recognize situations they may encounter in daily business operations as well. Here is how many organizations use this tool. A business owner or manager simply shares the deck during a team meeting. It can be used in employee onboarding, staff meetings, internal training sessions, leadership discussions. The goal is not to lecture people. The goal is to start thoughtful conversations inside the workplace. And once that conversation starts, culture begins to shift. The second tool in the toolkit is designed primarily for employers and leadership teams. These are the Unity one pages. While the presentation deck introduces the topic to teams, the one pagers help employers take action. There are four key one pagers. First, Pledge of Inclusion. This helps organizations clearly define the kind of respectful culture that they want to build. It outlines expectations and provides a sample pledge that can even be included in employee handbooks. Number two, inclusive hiring practices. This guide helps employers reduce bias in hiring. It encourages gender neutral language in job postings, fair interview processes, and inclusive onboarding practices. Number three, inclusive workplaces are more attractive workplaces. This resource explains how inclusion strengthens recruitment, employee retention, and overall reputation. It also suggests practical actions such as inclusive communication practices and visible signs of welcome. Number four, quick start checklist. This is one of the most powerful tools in the entire toolkit. It gives employees a simple list of immediate steps that they can take to improve workplace culture: update job postings, reviewing forms, adding pronouns to email signatures, and last but not the least, listening to employees. Simple actions, but powerful signals. Let me show you a simple way organizations use these resources. First, share the presentation deck with employees to start the conversation. Second, discuss one or two of the workplace scenarios together. Ask your team a simple question: could something like this happen in our workplace? Third, leadership teams can then review the one pagers to evaluate policies, hiring processes, and communication practices. Finally, choose two or three actions from the quick start checklist and implement them. Not 20 changes, just two or three. Because inclusion grows only through consistent small improvements. So let me give you a quick example from the toolkit. Imagine a restaurant launching a date night promotion. The original poster shows only heterosexual couples and uses languages like him or her. At first glance, nothing really seems wrong, but representation matters. Some customers may feel that the space does not include them. A small adjustment can literally change the game. Instead of him or her, the business uses language like date night for two. Instead of showing only one type of couple, they include diverse imagery. That one simple change sends a powerful message. Everyone is welcome here. Small decisions like this shape how people experience your business. Here's another everyday example for you. Let us take a retail environment. An employee greets a customer and immediately assumes what they might be shopping for. It happens all the time. But assumptions can unintentionally make people uncomfortable. The toolkit suggests something much simpler. Use open language. Hi there, how can I help you today? Or are you shopping for yourself or looking for a gift? These small changes create space for customers to guide the interaction. Respectful communication is often the simplest and most effective tool any workplace has. There's another reason this conversation is important. Canada's workforce and customer base are diverse. More than 1 million Canadians identify as a part of the 2S LGBTQI plus community. Inclusive workplaces attract a wider talent pool. They build strong trust with customers, and they help businesses build reputations as organizations that care about people. And in today's world, reputation travels quickly. Customers notice, employees notice, communities notice. Inclusive businesses often become the businesses people genuinely want to support. So let me leave you with one idea. Building an inclusive workplace is not just about perfection, it is about intention. It is about being willing to learn. It is about noticing the small things that shape how people feel when they interact with your business. The Unity Toolkit makes that process easier. The presentation deck helps start the conversation across your team. The one pages help employers turn that conversation into action. And the Quick Start checklist helps organizations begin immediately. Small steps, real impact. And every step forward helps create workplaces where people feel respected, valued, and welcome. So, for all the people in business, thank you so much for joining me today. If you would like to explore the full toolkit and additional resources, you can visit canada.ca/unity. And I encourage you to take one small action after this session, just one, because real culture change always begins with that first step. Thank you again for being here.